morning! We are long overdue for a Z06 ownership update and general life update. I'm approaching 2 years of ownership of my C8 Z06 and I still absolutely love it. It's been fantastic. Today we're taking the car for a transmission fluid and filter change, and there's 2 open recalls I need to get taken care of. I did the oil change last week and they told me about the open recalls, but they said it would take like 3 hours and I did not have time that day, so we're going today. So we'll do a general Z06 update, what it's been like to own this car, some general life updates, and also we could probably talk about some rumored upcoming Corvette news too. There's been some more camo test cars after the ZR1's been launched, so Zora? Also, as is normal with Z06 ownership, I am very low on fuel again. This should get me to the dealership, but gonna have to get gas again. Arriving at La Fontaine Chevrolet of Plymouth. That's where I come to get my car serviced here in Michigan. Dropping off for the service. Estimate is going to be around $400 for the trans, fluid, and filter, but I have over 500,000 GM points, which I can use for service, courtesy of General Motors for keeping the car for 6 months. So thank you very much, Chevy, for the free service. So not a big deal, but around $400-ish. We'll see what the final bill comes out to, and I'm getting a loaner. So I'm excited to see what kind of loaner car I have. It should take a couple hours, so I'm going to head home, get some more work done. The Vossens are still looking so good though. Man, I just love the way the car looks on these wheels. From the Z06 to the Chevrolet Equinox. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a slight little change in performance, but not complaining. I am grateful to get a loaner. In case you weren't familiar, when the Z06 first came out, there was a lot of demand, which led to dealership markup, and the market value was a lot higher than MSRP. So to try and deter people from getting the car simply to flip it for a profit, Chevy employed a stick and carrot approach, right? The stick was if you sold it within 6 months, the car would lose its warranty and you would not be allowed to get any special GM vehicles anymore. The carrot was if you kept it for 6 months, you would get 500,000 GM rewards points, like the My Chevy rewards points. So obviously I kept it for more than 6 months. I got the 500,000 points, and you can use it for anything from service to purchasing a new car to buying accessories and so forth. So I used it to pay for service. The oil change was I think just under $200, and I used my points for that. I don't think they're offering that anymore on the latest models. The demand's kind of gone down and supply has increased, so it's just returned to the normal market state for a Z06. You can get them for under MSRP now, so I don't think by 2025 model year you get that same plan anymore. For the ZR1 though, we'll see, because it'll be the whole kind of situation all over again of people wanting to get the car simply just to flip it for a profit. So we'll see what they do to try to prevent that. Car is done, time to head home. I'm gonna move this cone. Final cost was $440, labor $170, parts $237.90, plus some miscellaneous charges and tax $440. Owning a Z06 is really good for your health because it means you'll park as far away as possible in the parking lot and get all those extra steps in. So the Z06 is now fully serviced, just in time to go into the garage for hibernation because winter is approaching, but we still have a little bit of nice driving weather left this year. It's been very busy and hectic for me recently. My girlfriend and I were in California for her sister's wedding, and then I took her to Japan and China for some vacation time, came home straight into more insanity. We're really busy moving into a new townhouse. I've got a lot of travel for various media programs, drive events, and so forth. Future plans with the Z06. It's not going anywhere. I am keeping this car forever as long as I can. And we should talk about like some speculation on future Corvette product, right? So the ZR1 has been announced. I've seen that thing. It is utterly epic. I cannot wait to drive one, experience one. I want to add one to the garage at some point. But ZR1 is not going to be the top of the line, right? There's rumors of the Zora, and there's been a camouflage test vehicle at the Nürburgring, which is likely the Zora. There's a couple hints that indicate that, but it'll be fun to kind of speculate on what is coming, what the Corvette hierarchy will be like, because Z06 we knew was never going to be the top car, but I still think the Z06 will have a very, very special place in the C8 lineup. The welcome sequence on the Z06 is pretty cool. You close the door and it goes from that flat plane crank V8, it fades out to the side profile. The E-Ray has a slightly different one because it's got the little electric motor up front. I'm excited to see what the ZR1 startup animation looks like. I did not get to see that when I saw the car. That was a pre-production model, so it didn't have final everything on the inside. The Corvette Z06. It's been about 2 years since this car first came out. This is the 2023 model year. It's a pretty early production car. We're on to 2025 model year now. They've added some new colors. The prices have changed slightly, but this still remains just such an amazing vehicle. The special part is that engine, the 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8, revving at over 8,000 RPM, the most powerful, naturally aspirated production V8 ever. And it's just such a special experience. It makes such good noises too. Things are still coming to temperature, so that was like 3,500 to 4,000 RPM. I have a whole other 4,000 or 5,000 RPM left to go. I truly do love this car, and I always say I can't give a car a higher endorsement than buying it with my own money. So I bought a Z06. As soon as I got a passenger ride in a pre-production engineering car, I literally got out of the car and turned to the Chevy Corvette team. I was like, whenever this comes to market, let me know what I need to do to buy one because I want to own one of these. That was before even driving one, right? I just absolutely fell in love with all the ingredients. I love high revving, naturally aspirated cars. I do have a love for the more kind of track focused versions. Not that I'm on the racetrack every weekend, but it makes the car feel a little more sharp, a little more aggressive, a little more exciting, even when you're just driving normal around town stuff. Not so hardcore track focused, but track capable, right? So like my Shelby GT350R, I did love that car. I love the Porsche GT3 RS. They're just a fun experience in all situations. But anyways, back to the Z06. I bought one of these, absolutely love it. I've kept it for 2 years now. Never had any interest whatsoever in flipping the car or selling the car. And honestly, I sold 2 other cars that I loved. My 2018 Audi R8 RWS and my 2018 Shelby GT350R. That last one was real hard. I kind of regret that one. That's the only car that I've ever sold that I regret, my Shelby, and I want to buy a GT350R again in the future because it's a very different experience from this. Both flat plane crank V8s from American manufacturers, but the Shelby is front engine, rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission, very, very different experience, and I miss that car. But the Z06 is the one that I decided to keep. It brings the exotic experience. It turns heads, especially in a brighter color like this with the Z07 pack and the more aggressive carbon era. I've got the epic Vossen wheels on it that give it a more unique character. I love this car. Every time I drive it, I'm excited to take it out. And sadly, I guess my ownership has been not enough miles. I've done under 6,000 miles in the 2 years I've had the car. What are we at right now exactly? 5,896 miles. And I'm a little bit ashamed of that because I love the car and I wish I was driving it more, but just the reality of my current lifestyle between work and press cars and travel, I just don't get the opportunity to take the car out as frequently as I wish. Plus, the fact that we have winter in Michigan, so it just sits in a garage in the Midwest, right? It was in Chicago last year, and this year in Michigan, it'll be parked away in hibernation. The first year I got it, I shifted out to Arizona for the winter, went to California, drove it from Los Angeles all the way out to Scottsdale, and enjoyed it out there for the winter. I would like to do that again at some point. That'd be fun, or just road trip it out west. But not as many miles as I should have put on the car, but it's been phenomenal. Reliability-wise, I knock on carbon fiber, haven't had any problems. Been doing regular maintenance. I've done 2 oil changes. I did the transmission fluid and filter change as you just saw, and it's been fine. I haven't really paid attention to any over-the-air updates. I leave it on a trickle charger when I leave it in the garage, check tire pressures. I guess the only thing, I picked up a nail in a tire, so I had to replace one of the rear tires, which is staggeringly expensive. I have PS4S on here instead of the Cup 2Rs that come from the factory. Cup 2Rs are brake slicks. They're just not usable on the road. And you don't need them, right? They wear very quickly. They don't work well when it's cold or when it's rainy. So PS4S tires, it was like, I think $600 something, almost $700 for a single rear tire because they're 345s. They're absolutely huge. Other than that, the car has just been lots of fuel, right? Lots of fuel and lots of smiles. I do really, really like this car, and I intend to keep it long term. I have no intention of selling this car. There's always this thing with car people, right? We say the forever car. The Shelby was supposed to be a forever car for me, but I just found myself not driving it enough, so I sold that one. I tell myself that this is my forever car. It's the first time I ever ordered a car of this level magnitude, brand new from the factory. My R8s, I bought those used. The Shelby, I bought it used, right? I haven't been able to customize a car like this ever. And I was really happy to be able to order it, configure it exactly how I wanted to. I did museum delivery. It's got my little EddieX plaque there in the middle. It's a really, really early car. There's a VIN number 36. So all those things add up to be like, this is special, and I love the car. And I don't think they're ever gonna make a car like this again, although I never thought they would have made this car in the first place. This engine was a very big surprise to me for sure. A naturally aspirated from the ground up flat plane crank V8 when everybody's going forced induction, hybridized downsizing, and so forth. It's just special, absolutely special. So I want to keep this car long term, even with the ZR1 out. So it went C8 Stingray, and then we got the Z06, and then the E-Ray came out. But the E-Ray and the Z06 are such different personalities. At no point did I consider wanting to replace my Z06 with the E-Ray, or even adding the E-Ray. E-Ray is a great all-around, daily drivable supercar. Essentially, the torque is tremendous in the usable envelope, and it's more comfortable and livable compared to the Z06. But it's just not what I was looking for. The ZR1, though, kind of resets the ball game. The ZR1, I thought was going to be like 800, 850 horsepower, right? Kind of natural step up. I like to keep saying how McLaren does the 720S, then they do the 765 LT, then they do the 750S, and like Porsche and Ferrari, and they all do that kind of pattern, right? Look at Lamborghini, you get an extra 30, 40 horsepower. McLaren didn't do the 720S and then the 1000S, right? That's what Corvette has done. They did 670 horsepower in this, and I go, you know what? 1,064 horsepower sounds nice for the ZR1. I jaw dropped when I found out that was going to be the power figure. So that's total different ballgame, and it's not cross-plane crank. It's still flat-plane crank. Doesn't rev quite as high, but still very, very high, and over 1,000 horsepower from a Corvette. So immediately I'm like, okay, well, now I got to buy a ZR1 somehow. It's going to be extremely difficult to get an allocation, just like it was for the Z06, but from what I've been told, it'll be even harder for the ZR1 than the Z06. Kind of makes sense. As they go up the pyramid, you get fewer and fewer allocations and builds. They want to make them a little more rare. And the price, we have no idea what the price point is. They still have not revealed pricing for the ZR1. I think the base price will be $160 to $180, and you'll be able to option it up with ZTK and 3LZ to maybe $230 to $240, maybe touching $250,000. But at $160K base, or even $180K base, option to $250, that still stands to be a crazy good value. To get 1,000 horsepower, you're talking way more expensive cars, and that performance, not just the power number, right? Just the power number and straight line speed has become much more achievable with electric vehicles. For an internal combustion car, a pure rear-wheel drive car, and a track-capable car like the ZR1, to hit that, you're competing with exotics that are 2-3 times the price. So the ZR1's going to be utterly insane. I would love to try. I'm going to try to get one. Competition Yellow or Hysteria Purple are the two color choices. Of course, it needs the big wing too. The ZR1, yeah, I cannot wait to drive and experience that because it should be just utterly ballistic. But I would not replace the Z06. I don't think they're going to do another LT6, right? Naturally aspirated, this V8. I think they'll always pair either the base engine with hybrid like they did on the E-Ray. Even if there is a Grand Sport, I think that would be the base LT2 V8 with the wide body treatment, just like the previous formulas on the C7 and C6. I don't think anything else will get this engine. Kind of like how Ford, with the Voodoo 5.2 flat plane crank, they didn't put in anything else except for the 350, 350R. The GT500 went to a cross-plane crank supercharged V8. The GTD, as they carry on that engine, is still going to be the supercharged one, right? I just don't think they're going to put that engine into anything else again, which means the Shelby 350R and 350 stay special, the Z06 stays special. Which then leads us to the next talk. There's going to be a ZR1, but then there's rumors of the Zora, right? Another higher tier. we've never had a tier above the ZR1 before. ZR1 was always the top of the line, king of the hill, monster. C7 was what, 755 horsepower, talking 1,000 horsepower. Like, where can they go? Well, electric all-wheel drive. You have the precedence of the E-Ray. You take the E-Ray electric front motor, which I believe is like 160 horsepower on its own. You pair that with the LT7 instead of the LT2, and all of a sudden you have over 1,200 horsepower all-wheel drive, and that's the next step from the ZR1. That's assuming they don't up the power output of the E-motor and pair it with a slightly bigger battery or something. So again, this is all pure speculation, but that means the ZR1 won't be the top of the line. And there's something about having like the top line car. Right into traffic. We are at the tail end of rush hour traffic. So we're speculating about the Zora. We're speculating about a model that is, who knows when it's coming. We haven't even gotten the ZR1 quite yet. We don't even know price in the ZR1, but there's been a camouflage test car at the Nürburgring, and it's not a ZR1, right? The ZR1's been revealed, but it's got the same aero, the wide body, and the extra intakes and cooling ducts of the ZR1, the S duct up front for even more downforce. But there was one spy shot I saw that had the vertical extra cooler like the E-Ray has up. I think it's on the driver's side. That's to cool the electrical motor system, the E system. And then I think there was one where if you run at the Nürburgring and you have a hybrid vehicle, electrified vehicle, you have to have this like warning sticker, and it had that sticker on it. So that's kind of just a dead giveaway. It's not a secret. And the rumor name is Zora. When you look through trademarks and USPTO filings and so forth, you can sometimes get a hint at what manufacturers are trying to do. They'll grab all sorts of naming, branding, schematics, ideas, whatever, just in case. Not all of it comes to fruition. Probably more of it doesn't come to fruition than actually becomes a reality. But I believe early on there was a rumor of a Zora, and there might be even a full electrified version. Fingers crossed we don't get SUV or sedan versions of the Corvette. I really don't want them to dilute the brand like Mustang did with the Mach-E. I still can't get behind the Mach-E. It's very much a dilution of the Mustang brand equity. So I don't want Corvette to go down that path. But if there is a Zora, that means the ZR1 won't be the top dog. But if there is a Zora, what is the power number going to be? It's going to be crazy. I thought ZR1 would be 850, Zora would be 1,000. And that would be like the poor man's SF90, right? You have a twin turbo V8 with hybrid all-wheel drive. That's the SF90 formula. But at this rate, the Zora is going to demolish everything from a Revuelto to the SF90 to whatever Porsche decides to do with the GT2 RS. It's literally Corvette going, haha, that's cute, to every European manufacturer with their track cars. The price will probably keep climbing. I wouldn't be surprised if we're starting to touch 300 grand. But if you look at the price point, that's what Corvette always delivers. This car at $150,000 will go up against cars twice the price. McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches, whatever, name it, right? And you can get cheaper ones. This is the 3LZ. You do like a base 1LZ with the Z07, you want to be a track car, you're way cheaper than a GT3, and you'll demolish a GT3 on track. So I still think this is a fantastic car. Obviously, I'm keeping it. I love it. It puts a big smile on my face. Values are dropping, though. And we knew that was going to happen. It was always inevitable. There was this weird bubble when the C8 first came out. It had to do with just the market pricing and all the craziness that was going on. And that was not sustainable long term. The Z06 piggybacked off of that, but also the hype and the craziness of this car and the fact that they couldn't build them. 23 model, you had so many restrictions and constraints, right? So those all came together to kind of keep the prices inflated and then artificially high for a long time. At the end of the day, the Z06 is just a production special Corvette. C7 Z06s ran their course and came down to reasonable prices. C6 Z06s are very reasonably priced now with the LS7. So we knew what was going to happen with the C8 Z06. There are dealers now selling them for under MSRP. You can walk in and order one now. They've got used models, lightly used models going for thousands and thousands of dollars off of MSRP. Am I worried about that? Absolutely not. I intend to keep the car for as long as I can, forever. Then who cares? If you're never going to sell it, what does it matter? I want to do a whole separate video talking about the price, and I'll probably do some digging into more data points and speculate on what's been driving the price going down and so forth in comparison. I think that'll be a fun video and will be a great conversation. But this one was supposed to be a Z06 update and speculation on the ZR1 Zora. I can't wait to drive the ZR1. The one other thing with the ZR1, if you don't get the ZTK, it looks fairly similar to a regular Z06 or E-Rig because they both have the same wide body treatment. And without the big wing, you have to really look for the extra ducting. You have to know what you're looking for. The rear valence is the same. The front fascia is the same, right? It can't get any wider. It requires just a gigantic ZTK wing to set it apart. So the ZR1 in a non-full track package form is almost sort of like a sleeper of sorts. 1,000 horsepower sleeper. And we're stuck in some more traffic. But in summary, the Z06 has been phenomenal. Still love it. I'm sad I haven't driven it enough. I promise you I will try to drive it more. I will do my absolute best to drive it more through the end of this year. And then although this next month I'm home for like 2 days. So, well, it's going to be November by the time I'm back. I'll drive it more next year. Maybe I'll do a road trip or something. That would be a lot of fun. But with that, we're gonna set our way through some traffic. Fingers crossed it's not too bad. And meet up with Steve and do some shenanigans with a gated manual Lamborghini Gallardo. What would you rather own, a gated manual pre-LP Gallardo or a Z06? Because they're probably around a similar market price right now, but I mean, we have like 15 plus years difference between the two of them. This is a 2006, or they made them from 2004 to 2008, the pre-LPs, and Z06 started in 2023, and we're on 2025 model year, so very different on the inside and completely different driving experience. Gated manuals are just a little special, right? They're special in their own special way. I just said special so many times, oh my goodness. So I've got keys to a Lamborghini Gallardo, but you know what's more important? We got to hear what this VQ35 sounds like in this 350Z. You said it's one of the best sounding cars you've ever heard?
No. It's the exact opposite of that.
Oh, one of the worst sounding cars you've ever heard. You said...
Next to a Spec Miata, this might be one of the worst cars.
So like a lawnmower?
My Dodge Neon might have sounded better than this.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
While you're filming your next thing that you're doing here,
yeah,
your product integration, I'm just going to, like, as soon as you're about to do something where you need it to go click, I'm just going to start this, just redline it.
Thank you. That's going to be fantastic.
So the best part about this being parked there,
yeah,
those wheels on that Z06,
yeah,
are 3 of these cars.
When you put it that way, it makes my wheels sound a little bit ridiculous, Steve. We're leaving the Z06 here. We're going out in the Gallardo. It has been so long since I've been in a Lamborghini Gallardo. We're gonna go get ice cream and go make some V10 noises. Well, you got a backup camera. Fancy, although it's like 14 pixels by 14 pixels. Have you ever wanted to see an 8-bit C8 Z06 and C6 Z06? Ice cream break. Yeah, it's getting cold. It is the end of ice cream season. It's usually packed here, Dairy Deluxe on Woodward Avenue, and it is empty. Like in the summer, the line is wrapping all the way around, and just one lonely Lamborghini here. Old school Lambo V10s just, oh yes. Oh, give me some good revs. Pre-LP Gallardo sound better than the LP560, the R8, don't you think, Huracan? Just not the same.
If they revved all the way to 9, I would agree, but they don't.
They don't need to with an exhaust like yours. The way it screams, oh, I love the way it sounds.
But 9,000.
Yeah, I mean.
Your R8 went to 9,000.
No, it didn't. It was 8,400-ish?
Well, the tuning was 9,000.
Yeah, you can tune it and get them rev out like that, yeah. I can't wait to hear the Temerario uncorked. That's going to be cool.
Didn't you hear it corked?
Yeah, very corked. It sounded like a muffled four-cylinder. It was very disappointing, actually, when I heard it in person, so.
I do like that it looks like a Gallardo.
Did you see when they had the first camo test cars, they put pre-OP Gallardo stickers on the front. They had like the headlight outline sticker on like the early test mules running around, kind of like trolling people. Lambo was definitely fun, but time to experience the Jag.
It's the Jag.
2004 XJ8. How many miles?
104,000.
How is this interior this pristine? It does smell a little bit musty.
The sunroof drains need to be.
Oh, that was the thing.
I'm sorry, I haven't had a chance to.
Whoa, these seats. Oh, these are some very comfy seats.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So when Steve told me he bought this car,
Go northbound. Yeah, northbound.
When Steve got this car, he was like, "Oh, it's perfect, except for one little minor inconsequential problem. The
small
problem was it would intermittently, randomly, of its own accord, go full throttle.
Small problem.
Yeah, you know, it is
small, very small, very small.
I was like, is that why it was $3,000, Steve?
I mean, it is, but also, like, did I mention that also when it goes full throttle, it also reportedly loses brakes.
And I'm driving this car now.
Yes, it's about to get on the freeway, yes.
Woohoo! Power! Not a lot of it, but...
See, there you go. Yeah, like, actually give it. Actually give it into the corner on the... You're not gonna die! Just drive the car.
Oh, body roll.
But you gotta admit, for like an ancient luxury car, this is great.
Yeah. How old are the tires?
2 years.
Oh, okay. Good. Now I feel a little bit better. That was a nice way to relax after the Gallardo. This also has a sport mode.
Yeah, but no, here. The best part of this is your foot in the brake.
Yeah. Your manual shifter on the line.
It's called the W or the U shifter.
U shifter. It is so
It
complicated.
has an electronic parking brake.
Wow.
2004.
Wow. Gotta say, for $3,500, this thing is pretty awesome. It is in fantastic, pristine condition. We'll have to do a full review, Steve, and just fingers crossed it stays working and nothing bad happens.
You should do the full review sooner than later.
In case something bad happens. And we still have hood ornaments. Got the Jag. That is a cool hood ornament.
The previous owner loved this car so much that he actually, because these are tied on. Like, they have a metal tie.
Oh, okay.
A metal cable tie. The old one rusted and broke off. So he went to the Jag in Lakeside, Jag dealer in Lakeside, and got a new one put on for $500 for just the emblem.
That's like 1/7 of the value of the car.
Well, the car is actually in good mechanical nick.
Yeah.
Probably worth 9 to 11.
Oh, okay. So you just got a real good deal because the guy was scared that it was randomly going full throttle, you know?
I mean, that problem could still be there. There is documented cases of that existing. I am not kidding. The only problem is no one ever believes them.
Well, I'm glad it didn't happen while we were driving it. Well,
Yeah.
I was driving it.
Well, yeah, you're going to borrow it.
This is my winter car. All right, I'm going to head home. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. Bye, Eddie.
We've made it back home. I absolutely love my Z06. This video was supposed to be just Z06 ownership update and some speculation on potential future Corvettes, but it got a little bit chaotic, but it's okay because we had a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Hopefully I can do a couple more Z06 videos before it goes into hibernation for the winter. Regardless, appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching.